I'm a planner, so I like to have a little bit of time to plan what I'm going to do. So I've had 48 hours to plan. But it's with distinct pleasure that I have the opportunity as mayor of the town of Hilliard to introduce Mrs. Nunez, who was born in Miami. She has 3 children. She graduated from Florida International University, received a bachelor's of science degree in political science and international relations, and her master's degree in public administration. Following graduation, she went to work at the office of State Senator Alex Diaz de Portillo as his chief of staff. Later, she would enter the healthcare industry, working as vice president of government affairs at Jackson Health Center. She also worked at Florida International University as an adjunct professor. She ran for state representative in District 112, which I think is now 119, through the redistricting. Went into primary, going on to be elected in the general election, running on the platform of creating jobs, improving the economy, lowering the tax burden for businesses and property owners in the state of Florida. After much speculation, Ron DeSantis announced his selection of Jeanette Nunez as his pick for running mate. I'd like to introduce you to the first human American to be named as a lieutenant governor nominee in the state of Florida, Miss Jeanette Nunez. Next, our next lieutenant governor of the state of Florida.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for having me here in Hilliard. And yes, it's true, I'm not from here. I was born and raised in Miami. A little different, but you know what? I think we have more in common than you would think. As the mayor indicated, I've spent the past 8 years serving in the legislature. It's been a tremendous honor and a tremendous experience, the last 2 of which I got to serve as Speaker Pro Tem, which is basically the number 2 in the House. And so I teased and I told Ron DeSantis, I'm used to being the number 2, so I think I'll be able to step into the role and do well. So we're so excited to be here. We're so excited to bring to you our message of what we're doing and what we're hoping to do, and we know that you all are going to play, a critical part in that. It's a tough election, we're not going to lie, but we're ready to fight. And we're excited about all the things that are going on in the campaign. So I figured you'd want to hear a little bit of how it's going. And I will tell you, for those of you that don't know Ron, I'm sure a lot of you do, Ron is a fighter. He is a father, he's a husband, he's a veteran. He put on that uniform and he served us honorably. And if there are individuals here that served in the military, could you please raise your hand? Thank you so very much. You all deserve a round of applause. Ron understands the unique challenges that our veteran community face. And certainly here in Florida, we are what we consider to be the most veteran-friendly state in the country. We have worked very hard the past 8 years under the leadership of Governor Scott and the legislature to make sure we're addressing issues specific to the veteran community. And we know even today there are challenges, but Ron is ready, he's equipped, and he's willing to make those challenges and take that and make opportunities for our veteran community. So again, thank you for those of you that have served. As you all know, the past 8 years we've been focused on growing the economy. We've been focused on reducing taxes. We've been focusing on making sure our education for our children is a system that we can be proud of. And over the past 8 years, we've cut taxes over $10 billion. We continue to create a climate that's going to bring businesses to Florida, no matter what part of Florida you're from. We want to make sure we're addressing unique challenges in each community to make sure that we're providing opportunity for all Floridians. And that's something Ron is very committed to, and I'm very committed to. If you look at our number of visitors that have been coming to Florida, last year we hit record highs, 116 million tourists. And so we want to make sure that tourists are coming here, right? We want to make sure they're not just going to the sandy beaches in South Florida, which that's okay, I appreciate that. But we want to make sure tourists are discovering all the wonderful parts of Florida. And so that's something, again, Governor Scott's been focused on, the legislature's been focused on, and we want to make sure to continue to further those policies. But what's also interesting, and I don't think people quite understand, is that we see 1,000 people a day move to Florida and make Florida their home. And why is that? They are leaving communities like New York, like LA, like Chicago. And why? Again, it's not because of our climate. It's because of our economic climate and the opportunities that we offer for businesses and individuals alike to further their dream, to put more money in the pockets of hardworking Floridians, to make sure that their children have access to choice in education. And so we're focused on continuing those policies, but the race, as I said, is a challenging one. We want to make sure that everyone understands the stark differences between our opponent and us. If you look at our opponent and what he stands for, it should really concern you. Our opponent wants to raise taxes 40%. He wants to stifle business and ingenuity and entrepreneurship. That's something that this economy simply cannot sustain. We are at an all-time low in unemployment, and while I know there's still areas that are challenged, our unemployment statewide is under 4%. I can assure you, if our opponent has his way, that unemployment rate is going to skyrocket. Because I've spoken to business owners, small, large, medium alike, and they tell me that if we raise our taxes 40%, they simply cannot sustain that. They will shut down their business and they will move elsewhere, or they simply will have to lay off workers. And that's a concern for us, especially since we've worked so hard to create a favorable business climate. Ron is also committed to our education system. We rank now 4th in the nation in K-12 performance. We recognize that there are challenges. Ron sees that we need to address the issue of our teachers. They're hardworking, and we appreciate them being on the front lines. So we're encouraged by all the opportunities we have, not only to continue furthering our education for our children, but making sure that our children are prepared for the workforce. We often hear from the business community that there are some skills gaps that we're missing, that we need to provide opportunities for all students, not just those that want to go to college or university. There's some that really need to be served through the vocational system. And so that's also a focus that Ron has. And he also wants to make sure that our communities are safe. Our opponent has a terrible track record as mayor of Tallahassee. It has become the deadliest city in this state, the deadliest city in Florida. All the while, our statewide crime rate has been going down. And so for me, as a mom of 3 children, it horrifies me that he hasn't done anything to stand with law enforcement, to stand with those that are on the scene. And honestly, what he's done is he's turned his back on law enforcement. When they came to him and asked him for additional money for resources to keep his citizens safe in the city of Tallahassee, he turned his back on them and he didn't approve it. Instead, he gave $2 million to his lobbyist friend in what is continually viewed as a pay-to-play type of city. The corruption scandals, the FBI investigation that is swirling around in Tallahassee under his watch is, again, very concerning. And his track record with taxes, with keeping his citizens safe wasn't bad enough. All you have to do is look at how he handled the tropical storm, Hurricane Hermine, that went through Tallahassee 2 years ago. Governor Scott reached out and offered to provide him with additional workers to help restore the power. He refused. He simply didn't want Governor Scott's help. He decided to play politics with people that were in his city, that many of them were in hospice, diabetes patients, individuals that needed their power for their safety and well-being, and he decided to play politics. But I can assure you, he and his buddies had their power on very quickly right after that storm. And so, again, if you look at his track record, if you look at his lack of leadership, if you look at his positions, what he has done as mayor of Tallahassee should concern you and should shake you to your core. So much so that I know that once you all look at our record, look at our platform, and look at his record, and look at his platform, and his constant increase in taxes, he never met a tax he didn't increase. He is looking to make us the high tax capital of the South. And so Ron and I are committed to fighting that. Ron and I are committed to our children. Ron and I are committed to Florida's future. And we want to make sure that you all help us get there. November 6th is right around the corner. I've stopped counting because I think when you count the days that you have left, it seems like it's so far away. But I know our election is right around the corner. Early voting, absentee ballots are out. So it's all on you to please help us to make sure all the voters understand the dire nature of this election. You know, politicians always say, oh, elections have consequences. This is the most important one. This election is critical. But I honestly believe that this election will really change the course of Florida if we don't deliver November 6th for Ron DeSantis and I. And I think once you look at the option, once you look at Ron's platform, and once you look at Andrew Gillen's platform, you will agree with me that we are not just the best choice for Florida, we're the only choice for Florida. Thank you all so much. God bless you and have a great day.